At Unbound, we're very passionate about opening doors for entrepreneurs and providing access to pilot programs and investment, partnerships, clients, you name it. And we're lucky enough to work very, very closely with one of the biggest companies in the world, Unilever. As you may know, they have the Foundry, which is an in-house program where they help startups integrate into their business. And we have the head of that program now for a keynote of how they help startups work within that ecosystem. So please help me welcome Barbara Guerpillon from Unilever Foundry. Round of applause, please.
Thank you everyone. Can you hear me fine? Okay, I know it's almost beer time. It is actually time up for beer time. But I will try to keep it short and sweet and give you as much information as I can. How many of you in the room, which if I can see, how many of you are startups? If you're still awake. 1, 2, okay, not so many startups. How many of you are corporates? Okay, I would say we have pretty much half-half. So I'm here to give you some insights about Unilever Foundry and how we're engaging with startups and how startups are engaging with us. And so Unilever, and that's my only very corporate slide, Unilever is 400 brands in 190 countries, but we have a long heritage of innovation by being one of the first doing packaged soda bar in 85 with Lord Lever. Then we were also in the 50s one of the world to develop TV and cinema ads, and more recently one of the first in Europe to develop partnerships with media publishers like Apple, Google or Facebook. And today we are the world, the second world biggest advertiser. And with that, we have both the opportunity and responsibility to be pioneering the future and be working with startups. New technologies are here, and at InnovFest we can see so many startups there. But new technologies enable us to be more effective, more sustainable, and more efficient in the way we are doing our business today and connecting people that we serve. And it's very, very important, more and more important, to look outside of our own environment to reach that goal. So I'd like this slide, which I discovered a few weeks back when I was in the US. And I like it because I think it talks for both corporates and startups. I've been an entrepreneur myself. I failed myself and learned a lot. But so it's an Ernest Hemingway quote. How did you go bankrupt? 2 ways. Gradually and then suddenly. I think we can all figure out how it can work for us, whether you are a corporate or a startups. And this is because technology is moving fast enough, very fast. It took us only 20 years to put an entire electronic store in the back pocket of your jean. And the speed at which technology is moving is not going to slow down. If you look at this, I've captured this yesterday while I was looking at the blockchain. We haven't figured out the blockchain really, and yet there is a new technology, a newer technology disrupting a new technology. Hashgraph, I haven't heard about it, but it's there. People are trying to disrupt themselves and to disrupt those new technology every day. As an FMCG company, our categories are not immune as well. We have entrepreneurs that every day are building up new brands and new business models to reach out to consumer. When you are an entrepreneur, it is very easy to set up a company, and at least easier than it was 100 years ago or 50 years ago. You have access to funds. You have more and more VCs willing to fund you. You have access to crowdfunding, crowdsourcing platform. You also have access to technology platforms that accelerate the way you build product. You have the Microsoft, the Amazon, the Google, and all of them who are providing free access to open source coding to help you to build those products in a more faster way, which allow you to focus on what kind of experience you want to deliver to consumers. So we have to be inspired by those entrepreneurs and try to work with them as well. So we live in that unpredictable world that will change fast and fast every day. And in that world, we need to build organizations that are more agile, more responsive, collaborating with entrepreneurs and startups, helping us to embrace the culture of innovation and accelerating the way we are doing business with Unilever, with our brands and our functions. And this is our opportunity to partner with the pioneers, to partner with those entrepreneurs reinventing the future. So 4 years ago, in May 2014, we have created Unilever Foundry. Unilever Foundry is our global platform for startups to connect with Unilever, and with Unilever to connect with startups and new technology. We have a unique process, brief pitch pilots, that help us to identify the right technology to solve our problem. We start from a problem statement, and then we go and reach out to entrepreneurs leveraging latest technology. It's a framework for experimentation. We're encouraging our brands and functions to identify or to acknowledge that the best ideas can come from outside of Unilever, and technologies are here to help us. We have 6 focus areas. We are looking for startups and technology around product and ingredients, for instance, but marketing and ad tech, consumer insights, sustainability, enterprise technology, and we are also looking at new business models. It's a wide range of focus area that we are looking at. You can have access on our website and see example of subjects that we are looking at. We are not only talking, we're actually walking the talk. In 4 years, we had hundreds of Unilever people engaging with Foundry, and we have run 150 pilots globally. Out of these 150 pilots, 45 of them became scale-up. It's always very important when you run an experimentation program, when you engage with startups, I'm talking to the corporates, to think about scale. How are you going to integrate those pilots into your day-to-day business, and how is going to impact your day-to-day business? This is some examples of startups that we have been working on. I picked a couple of them that are from the region here in SEAA. The lorry is an example of startups we've been working with our supply chain in last mile delivery. After a 2-month pilot last year, in January this year, we launched a 3-year partnership. Try and review is another example, and I will talk to you through the case later on, which has managed to scale working with our brands across more than 10 markets. But I'm going to deep dive into one case which I like. All our cases are available on our website and YouTube channel, but I picked one which I liked. It's a 3-year-old case, but it is interesting, and I will let you discover why. The brief was, and remember, we always start from the brief. What are we trying to crack? How can Knorr answer the question, what's for dinner tonight, via feature phone? That was done in South Africa.
As Knorr's growth accelerates across Africa and Asia, we need to explore new ways to engage with people in these markets. One of the key challenges is that the primary device in these markets are basic and feature phones, and with that comes a primary form of communication, which is text-based messaging. For us, the challenge was, how do we answer the question of what's for dinner tonight? We put this challenge to Unilever Foundry, and we're interested to see what solutions might come back.
At Digital Genius, we're building artificial intelligence combined with natural language processing that allows us to automate tens of thousands of real-time conversations.
And we have an amazing team that delivers this technology to some of the world's largest brands and corporations. When we first heard about Knorr's brief, we thought, wow, it's an amazing opportunity to make our technology available to millions of people worldwide. Through working with Unilever and wider Knorr team, we've built Chef Wendy, an artificially intelligent chef that helps customers to cook better meals using Knorr products every day.
A user can simply text the ingredients they have at home and immediately get a response with the dishes they can cook. This has also allowed Unilever to build a very big database of personal profiles of many customers they can now use to push targeted campaigns of their new products.
This system has proven to be overwhelmingly successful, with engagement being far higher than with other digital channels. Even more, we're reaching and crafting relationships with people we had no access to previously.
Working with Unilever is an amazing experience. They helped us to find a new use case, a new opportunity for our technology in an entirely new market. And now, following a successful pilot, we are working together with Unilever to scale this across different markets, different brands, different products, and make this system available to hundreds of millions of people worldwide.
What they mean is not only that it's amazing to work with Unilever, but the experience of developing the pilot and working with them allowed them to learn a lot about our business, about how we reach to our consumer, but also understanding the notion of scalability. And what we learned with them as well, it's at that time, 3 years ago, how we can leverage natural language processing that today we call chatbot. So we've been scaling with Digital Genius across the board. If you look at the date, Q4 2016, we stop here because we stopped counting. Digital Genius is a partner of ours working across the organization on different markets and different brands. The next example that I have is Try and Review, which is from Singapore. Very interesting because the initial brief was, how can we drive trials for our new product development in the region? And that was supposed to be, I would say, and I know Alexia is around, a temporary system to try those launches that we have in the region. But we ended up developing ways of working with Try and Review, having 95% of feedback from consumers providing reviews on the product we were sending them. And Lux was the first brand to work with them and integrate them into their global brand guidelines. After that, we tried to scale them and we proposed a solution to more brands. And slowly the traction started to build. And today, Try and Review is our major partner for review for all our e-commerce channel, working with more than 10 brands in 6 countries. And we are about to sign MSA together for the region. Always starting from the business brief. The last example I have is how can we be more disruptive as an FMCG company? I like this slide because it's 3 examples, it's 3 pilots around laundry services that we have. The first one is about co-wash that we have launched in Paris. And the idea is how consumers can use their neighbor washing machine to wash their clothes. And second one is ZipJet, which is a laundry services provider that we are trying now in London. And the last one is Tap to Pick in Indonesia, a laundry services that we launched last month. What's interesting is because Unilever Foundry is a global platform, and our team both in London and in Singapore, but also champions in the region, are communicating about the pilots. We are learning from each other, and according to different markets, we are able to adjust and try again different type of pilots with different type of partners. So I would like to, and my time is already up, but I would like to give you a couple of takeaways, if I may, before I go. Unilever Foundry is our very own model. It works well for us, and it's been around for 4 years. What we're saying is each corporates have to find their own way to engage with startups. And for that, I would like to give you with some thoughts. If you are a corporate, 3 things that I would try to remember. First of all, you have to acknowledge that the best idea doesn't always come from the 4 walls of your company. You have to be a lot more external facing. The second thing is clarity. You need to have clarity on why you want to work with startups. Otherwise, you take the risk that this will look like only as a PR exercise, even if it's not true. You need to have a clarity on why you want to work with startups and what outcome you want from that exercise. If you have clarity, your teams, when they engage with startups, will also be a lot more committed into working on that pilot. And the third one is proximity. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of the water cooler effect when your teams and working with startups and entrepreneurs. But I'll get back to the last point in the next slide. If you are startups, 3 things as well. Scalability. Not all the startups are meant to be working with big corporates like Unilever. But if this is what you want to do, you have to understand what scale means. What is scalability? Unilever is present in 190 countries, and every day you have 2 billion consumers using our product. So when we work with you and when we want to work on a pilot, sometimes the figures that we can give you may sound a bit big. I just give you an example. In Indonesia, we've been working with a startup called Ruma, trying to engage with chefs for food solution. And the solution was great. It was working on paper, and we could potentially reach out to 5,000 chefs in Jakarta. The team on the Unilever side said, fine, but 5,000 chefs is not enough. How can you reach out to 500,000 chefs? And the startup was not built for that scale. But that's where the role of Foundry and Unilever is here to help the startup to build business models that can be scalable. Patience. Not always easy to work with a big corporate. Patience. Just remember that when you work with a big corporate, yes, we may not be as agile or as fast as you are if you're great startups, but corporates have expertise, they have access to markets, they have budgets, and it worth the wait. The last point is proximity. Proximity is how you can learn from corporates, how you can learn at building a better product that actually fits a purpose, answer a brief. But that leads me to how we decided to build Level 3, which is a co-working space for startups. And actually now, I should say, it's more than a co-working space. It's actually an ecosystem that we're building for Unilever, for other corporates, for entrepreneurs, startups, policymakers, thought leaderships, investors, and VCs. And the ambition we have is to get people working together, create solutions together, piloting and scaling. I'll be happy to give you more information, but feel free to reach out to the Unilever Foundry website or the Level 3 website. Thank you very much.